Welcome to lesson 55. We're back working on word problems. We're going to do averaged and rate problems with multiple steps. We're going to find the sum of a set of numbers when the average of the numbers is known. We're also going to find an unknown number in a set of numbers when the average of the numbers are known. And we're going to solve rate problems with multiple steps. This is a concept that many students struggle with, so please pay close attention, and let's go through this. So if you were to calculate the average of three numbers and you found out that the average was 17, what is the total of all the numbers? Well, we can do this three ways, lots of ways actually, but three examples is this. You could have scores of 16, 17, 18, which is going to total 51, which is going to average 17. Or you could have 10, 11, and 30, still average still 17. Or you could have a 49 and 2 ones, totaling 51, the average is still 17. The point that we make here is that the total is 51. So for all intent and purposes, you can just go ahead and assume that because there's three scores involved, that each one of them is a 17 to equal 51. That'll make all of your problems easier when we do these going forward. So let's look at one. The average of four numbers is 25. So automatically you can just say 25, 25, 25, and 25 are the scores. You can just say that right now. And those all total up to 100 points. So if three of the numbers are 16, 26, and 30, what is the fourth number? Well, we add these up. 6 and 6 is 12. Carry a 1. 3, 5, 6, 7 is 72. So all we have to do is come up here to our 100 and minus the 72 that we already know, and it'll tell us what our missing number is. And that's going to be 28. So our missing number is 28. Does that make sense? Now, were the real scores this? No, we don't know that. Maybe the real scores were, 23, 26, something like that, but they all averaged 25. So it's much easier just to use 25 and not try. You don't need to try to figure out what the real scores were because it doesn't matter. Okay, let's look at another one. After 4 years, that's important to remember, 4 years, the average number of students participating in after-school sports was 89. So what can we right now, what can we do for each year? What could we say how many people participate in sports? We could just say 89. 89, and we do that for all 4 years. 89, 89. So we just automatically do that. Now that's going to equal 356. So in the 4-year period, there are 356 students that participated in after-school sports, and depending on each year, that was probably different, but the average was 89. So we know that our total is 356 students over that 4-year period. Now, how many students would need to participate in the 5th year if we wanted our average, all of these to be 90? Well, the way we do that is what we have to have is we need to know 90, 90, 90, 90, and 90, because we got to have an average of 90 for the 5 years. So if you set it up like that, you could automatically count up 4 there and 94 there. You could do it that way, or you could do and know that it's 94, or you could just take 9. Oh, sorry about that. 90 times 5 equals 450, and then when you subtract 356 and 450, you get the 90 plus the 1, 2, 3, 4. You get the 94 students. So in the 5th year, you'd need to have 94 to have an average of 90. So the way that's going to look is like this. So we've got that means we'd have the 89, 89, 89, 89, and then we'd need a 94 in order to get a 90 average for all these 5 years. I know it's a little bit complicated. You can do it. Okay, so some word problems involve many steps before the answer can be found. And when we solve these, it's important that we keep our stuff organized and separate. To solve rate problems in multiple steps, we break them down into similar parts, and then we solve each part to get the final answer. So Tyrone is buying refreshments for the next math club meeting. Brand A cranberry juice sells for $3.20 for a 64-ounce bottle. Brand B costs $1.19 for a 17 fluid ounce bottle. So which one is the better buy? Can you tell just by looking? You can't do it mental math. You're going to have to figure this one out. So pause the video. Please try to solve it, and then turn the video back on and see how I show you did do it. Okay, so step one is to calculate how much brand A cranberry juice costs. And the way you're going to do that is that you've got $3.20 for 64 fluid ounces. So you're just going to divide, cross multiply, divide 64, and you're going to find out that brand A averages 5 cents per fluid ounce. And then you do the same thing for step B. You take your $1.19 or $1.19 divided by 17 to figure out that it's 7 cents an ounce. So obviously the better buy is brand B, or brand A, I mean, because it's 5 cents instead of 7. That's a two-step equation using the unit multipliers to do it, but you don't have to do it that way. You could do it mentally in your head too. Not in your head, but 320 divided by 60. You got to remember those decimals. If you forget the decimals, you're gonna get thrown off. So be sure you use your decimals correctly. All right, let's look at another one. Brenda has 2 part-time jobs. During 1 week, she worked 20 hours at the bookstore for $8.10 per hour, and 16 hours as a receptionist for $9 per hour. So we know that the 20 hours goes with the $8.10 an hour, and we know that the 16 hours goes with the $9 an hour. So we can pull that information out. Then it says, how much did Brenda earn at the bookstore? Well, the top one, this one here is the bookstore up here, and down here she is a receptionist. So it says, how much did she earn at the bookstore? So you just times those two together. At the receptionist, you're going to times those two together. And it says, what were her total earnings for the week? Once you get the answers of both of these, you're going to add them together, and that'll give you your total down here for C. And then for your average rate of pay, you're going to take C and you divide it by your total hours of 36. See if you can work those through. Let's go ahead and show you that. So in one, you take the 20 hours times $8.10 an hour. You see that she earned $162. As a receptionist, when she did the 16 hours at $9 an hour, she earned $144. To figure out her total earnings, we added these two together and got $306. And then to get her average rate of pay, we took that $306 and we divided by the 36 hours to get the $8.50 an hour. Not really complicated, but it requires patience on your part to keep it all organized and keep everything straight so you get the right answers in the right places. All right, there's your tickets in the door. Work on them tonight. If you have questions, write it down. We'll go over them tomorrow. Thank you for watching the video.